welcome back to another episode of the Learn, Dream, Do show. Today, we're going to talk about Asian American Heritage Month.
What does that mean exactly? Well, it means that we're going to celebrate the people and cultures of Asia. That's this big piece of the world right here. There are over 40 countries and 2,000 languages spoken, so we won't get to talk about every single one today. But if you're curious to know more, stay tuned because we have lots of resources to share. We'll also be learning from our neighbors right here in Texas. DFW, which includes Dallas, Fort Worth, and all the little cities around us, has lots of thriving Asian American communities, and we celebrate them during the month of May. We're going to talk about all kinds of things from boba tea to manga, festivals, and language. Let's get started.
In the United States, Asian Americans make up about 5.6% of the total population. In Fort Worth city limits, that number is a smaller 4.5%. But in communities around Fort Worth, it is much, much higher. Many of the smaller towns outside of Dallas and Fort Worth have populations that are 6 to 10% Asian American. Several are even higher. Carrollton has 13.4, Richardson has 15.7, Allen has 16.2, and Plano's is at least an amazing 16.9%. So if you want to experience some awesome Asian American culture, get to the burbs!
Now, let's get literary.
If you're hungry for more good reads, give Bilal Cook's Doll a try. In this book, by Aisha Saeed, illustrated by Anusha Syed, Bilal is excited to help his dad cook dal and share it with all of his friends. The problem? Dal takes a long time to cook. Will Bilal and his friends have the patience to wait? This Asian Pacific American Literature Award honor book is a wonderful story about the power of a good meal to bring a community together. Art and storytelling also have a way of bringing people together, as demonstrated in Drawn Together by Min Lei, illustrated by Dan Santat. In this book, a boy and his grandfather struggle to communicate until they discover a shared love of drawing. In this way, the two are able to express themselves, understand each other, and develop a bond that transcends language. Wonderfully expressive illustrations from a Caldecott medalist accompany the sparse text in this nearly wordless book. Moving on to chapter books, let's start with Newbery Honor Book, Other Words for Home, by Jasmine Warga. Jude never imagined she would leave her life in Syria behind to start anew in America. But when things in her hometown become unsafe, Jude and her mother do exactly that. But the America she moves to isn't like the movies. It's too loud, too fast, too foreign. This novel, told in verse, is a story about identity, labels, losing home, and finding yourself. Humor and heart combine in our next book, Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. 11-year-old Yumi dreams of becoming a stand-up comic, but her parents want her to enroll in summer tutoring instead of studying her favorite YouTube comedians. When a golden opportunity comes along in the form of a comedy camp for kids, Yumi grabs it, even though the instructor and other children think she's a girl named Kei Nakamura. Hilarity ensues in this tale of mistaken identity as Yumi learns what it means to stand up for herself. Also, check out Newbery winner Hello Universe by Erin and Trotta Kelly. This charming novel of unexpected friendships is told from 4 different viewpoints. Virgil, Kaori, Jen, Valencia, and Chet are not friends. But when a prank traps Virgil at the bottom of a well with his pet guinea pig, these unlikely companions embark on an epic rescue mission, and each will confront the universe and discover their inner hero. What will your next read be? Happy reading!
What is manga? Manga are Japanese graphic novels. They're non-traditional in the sense that instead of reading them from left to right like English comic books, we read them from right to left. It can be a little bit tricky at first, but it's easy once you get the hang of it. Manga series cross gender and age divides, so you can always read one that you're interested in.
The term Asian American refers to Americans who have Asian ancestry. There are many different reasons why families from Asia come to the United States of America. Some come for job opportunities, others for school, or in my family's case, we came over for freedom. My mom and her family are Vietnam War refugees. They made the tough decision to leave their country and seek asylum. An asylum seeker is anyone who flees their country due to safety concerns and applies for protection in another country. In 1975, after the Vietnam War ended and the government changed, people who disagreed with the government were imprisoned, and my mom's life became less free and less safe. Vietnamese families who escaped on boats like this experienced a lot of danger and risk in order to find a better life. Nobody becomes a refugee for fun. People become refugees when their home countries are no longer safe or viable to continue living in. I am glad that the United States of America sponsored my family to become U.S. citizens. Even though I was born in America, sometimes I still get questions like, what are you? Or where are you really from? Those questions make me feel sad because it makes me think that the person asking those questions don't think I belong here. A better way to ask questions is like, what is your ethnicity? Or what do you prefer to be called? That will help people feel more welcome. But whenever I feel sad or I don't feel welcome, I remember this song and it helps me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Everyone has a story, and our stories make us unique. Did your family come over to America? What's your family's story?
This is Dr. Johnny Kim. He was a Navy SEAL, that's an expertly trained elite unit. He earned a medical degree from Harvard, where less than 4% of people who apply get in, and he's an astronaut for NASA in training to go to the moon. How do you think he's been able to accomplish things that most of us only ever dream of? He's quoted as saying, "I'm not gifted. I'm not smarter than everybody else. I'm not stronger. I just have the ability to stick to a plan and not quit."
When immigrants move to a new country, most of the time they bring their traditions and customs along with them. Many Asian Americans celebrate holidays that are customary for their culture. One of these being Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year starts with the first new moon of the lunar calendar and ends with the first full moon, 15 days later. Before the start of the new year, it's customary to clean the house to remove any bad luck that might be lingering inside. New Year's Day is for family and celebration, as well as honoring ancestors. Family members receive red envelopes with small amounts of money. Here in America, we might see the color red and think of danger, anger, or even love. In China, the color red can mean happiness, success, and good fortune. It's interesting to think that colors have different meanings in different cultures. Another celebration that you might have heard about is the Cherry Blossom Festival. In Japan, this festival was celebrated by going out and enjoying time outside under the cherry blossoms. People picnicked and celebrated the warmer temperatures of spring. Here in America, the Cherry Blossom Festival is celebrated across the country, but one of the most popular celebrations happens in Washington, D.C. In 1912, Japan gave a gift of 3,000 cherry trees to the city of Washington, D.C. This gift celebrates the enduring friendship between the people of the United States and Japan. Another festival you might have heard of is Diwali. Diwali means row of lights. This celebration originated in India. The festival generally symbolizes the victory of light over darkness, good over evil, knowledge over ignorance, and hope over despair. It is celebrated anywhere from late October to mid-November, depending on the lunar calendar. Like many celebrations around the world at this time of year, it's a way to bring light into the darkness of winter, a time when the days are short and nights are long. What's great about a lot of these celebrations is they're community-based. So even if you don't celebrate them, those who do will welcome you. If you want to learn more about any Asian celebrations or festivals, you can always check out a book from the library to learn more.
I'm giving you permission to root for yourself. And, while you're at it, root for those around you too. Mindy Kaling.
Try this! A little earlier in the episode, I talked about the cherry blossom festivals and how they're celebrated almost around the world. Let's take some time and learn how to make our very own cherry blossoms so that way we can welcome in spring. For today's project, you'll need 3 things. You'll need a pencil, you'll need a piece of paper, it can either be white or pink, and a pair of scissors. The first thing that I'm going to do to my piece of paper is I'm actually going to divide it into 4 equal pieces. So that's 4 1/4 from the short side and 5 1/2 on the long side. There we go, I've split my paper into 4 equal pieces. This will make 4 cherry blossoms, and so I'm going to go ahead and remove 3 of these and we'll just work with 1 for now. Alright, I've grabbed one of my pieces of paper. The first step is to go ahead and fold it in half, going up just like this, and put a crease there in the middle. Now that I've folded it in half, I want to make a midpoint mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over again, but I'm just going to crease over here on the left side and unfold it. I'm going to use my pencil and make just a little pencil line right there to give me a target to work with. My next step is I'm going to take the lower right corner and take it over to my pencil mark, and I'm going to crease it. Next, I'm going to take this little flap and I'm just going to fold it over and crease it along that line. Next, we're going to take this right side and we're going to fold it over so that way these 2 lines match up here at the bottom. Like that, and we're going to crease it. So it kind of looks like an ice cream cone now. Next, I'm going to take my pencil, and I've kind of drawn it here, but I'm going to draw a little bit of an arc across my folded paper. The lower down you have your arc, the smaller your flower will be. Now that I've drawn that, I'm going to take my scissors and just follow that arc and cut it out. You should be left with something that looks a little bit like this. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw a line right across here because I want to cut this part off. Now you should have a shape that looks like this. I'm going to draw a half circle towards the bottom of my piece here, just like that, and I'm going to use my scissors to cut out that half circle. There you go. You'll want to try and make sure that your half circle is close to the bottom and not close to the top. Alright, now that we've cut everything, it is time to open it up and to reveal our beautiful cherry blossom. There we go! That's our cherry blossom. I love how quick and easy it is to make these, and you can make a lot of them as well. You can even go outside and find a branch and decorate that branch using them to bring a little bit of the cherry festival inside to your home.
Another fun way to celebrate cultures through creation is to cook a meal. But you don't have to make everything from scratch. You can stop by your local Asian grocery store. Growing up, that's a great way that my family kept food traditions alive. Did you know that going to a cultural specialty market is a great way to support local businesses? Cultural districts are often owned and run by local business owners. Cultural shopping areas provide lots of services, from restaurants to salons to grocery stores. They work hard to provide ingredients and services that you can't get in other locations. By stocking different food items, cultural food markets help maintain food traditions within immigrant families. And for non-immigrants, you can tap into a new culture and expand your palate. Just check out all these different types of fruits. These are examples of special fruits you can check out at your local Asian grocer. Jackfruit. Did you know that raw jackfruit in brine is a healthy vegan meat replacement? Durian. This is a very pungent fruit that often is banned in some locations because of how bad it smells. But surprisingly, it's really yummy and sweet. Dragon fruit. Did you know that there are different types of dragon fruit? This one has red insides, others have white, and many more fruits. Sometimes you know the fruit, like bananas, but it's a different part. These are banana blossoms. Did you know you could eat them? There's also plantains and small bananas, so many different types of bananas. Even if you don't know much about making Asian food, it is still fun to walk through the aisles of an Asian grocery store. My favorite place to explore is the snack aisle. There, you can travel with your taste buds. Did you know you can make your own bubble tea by using ingredients purchased at the Asian grocery store? But if you don't want to make your own, you can always head into a local tea shop. This is a great place to hang out. One of my favorite things about living in America is that you can taste and experience different cultures by just driving a few miles. By embracing different cultures and trying new flavors, you are supporting local businesses and making your town's economy more productive. It's not just Asian grocery stores. Multicultural stores across America make the local economy more vibrant and lucrative. America is so special because we can travel by simply shopping within our own cities. That's the magic of diversity.
Here's an idea. The next time you and your family's bored, consider getting your groceries at a local Asian market. You can try out new ingredients and new cultural flavors. Plus, it's like you're traveling, but you don't have to take an airplane. And best of all, you're supporting local businesses.
Do you know there are 5 types of popular rice we eat today that are from various countries in Asia? Let's go into the stacks to see what countries we can discover and the types of rice dishes that are the most popular. Come with me into the stacks. Our first stop is Thailand. Do you like fried rice or a delicious curry with rice? If so, we get jasmine rice from this country, and it's named after the sweet-smelling flower. Our second stop is Japan. Koshi rice is also a popular rice because it's used in sushi. Do you like sushi? Our third stop is Vietnam. This broken rice is called com tam. Com tam is often used as a side dish and typically served with fried pork or steamed eggs with pork or fish. Our fourth stop is India. We get basmati rice from this country. This light and fluffy rice is long grain. It's usually used in curries and rice pilaf dishes. Our last stop is China. What do eggplant and blueberries have in common with black rice? They all have a powerful antioxidant called anthocyanin that gives them their dark color. Black rice is also known as the forbidden rice because it's extremely rare, but it's also very healthy.
Did you know?
Rice grows in flooded fields, also called rice paddies. Farmers grow it that way because rice is special. Most other plants can't live in fields with 4 to 6 inches of standing water. The water also helps the plants make more rice to feed more people. The world eats over 439 million tons of rice every year.
These small dolls come from the Asian country of South Korea. They were given to me by my student Eunjung. I actually started teaching in the Asian country of Turkey. And since then, I've taught over hundreds of students from 28 of the 48 Asian countries. Students from all over the world come to study at American universities, but they may need some intensive English first. I've taught at both the college and the university levels. At the University of Texas at Arlington, we often had students from over 40 different countries at the same time. My UTA students didn't work because they were on a special student visa where they studied intensive English. I also taught credit classes at community colleges, but most of my students there worked a full-time job in the day and attended classes in the evening. In fact, one of my young female Vietnamese students worked a full-time job during the day, attended class in the evening, and was at the top of her class. Now, depending on the student's first language, speaking English can be a very, very steep hill to climb. One example is the Vietnamese language. Speaking English is especially difficult for Vietnamese speakers because the Vietnamese language has tones while English does not. Vietnamese also has a very, very different rhythm pattern and many different sounds that English doesn't. So, some of those sounds transfer over to English when Vietnamese speakers speak. Most Asian languages use a completely different kind of writing system than the English alphabet. In English, we combine letters to form a word, but many Asian languages use a combination of logographs, or small symbols or pictures. An easy way to understand logograph is through the English and sign. You can see that there are no letters involved in the logograph for and. Now, let's look at the logographs for cat in 2 Asian languages. Here is the word cat in Chinese, hanzi, on the left, and Japanese, kanji, on the right. Just like the symbol and, you don't pronounce sounds when reading these symbols. You just have to remember them. Let's hear how to pronounce the word for cat in these and a few other Asian languages. Notice that in both Mandarin Chinese and Thai, the word for cat is like the English word meow. Mandarin Chinese, mao. Japanese, neko. Korean, goyangi. Persian, gorbe. And Thai, meow. So you see, there are many ways to write and say cat.
Chinese American cellist Yo-Yo Ma said, "I believe culture must work alongside politics and economics to help us to recognize our values as shared values and our goals as shared goals. That is the power of culture. It turns the other into us, connecting our personal truths to the largest planetary goals." Yo-Yo Ma.
People from many Asian countries practice Buddhism, and there are a number of Buddhist temples in and around Fort Worth. Communities of Tibetan, Vietnamese, Lao, and Thai Americans practice their faith in these beautiful temples amid large gardens and statues. Here are pictures of Wat Buddha Ratanaram, a Thai monastery in color. The pictures were taken by a photographer named Samrita Rajbandari. Big thanks to him. The monastery has about 20 acres of beautiful temples, gardens, and homes for the monks and nuns. It is rumored to have the largest Buddha statue in the whole United States. If you want to visit, you can walk around the grounds and sit on benches. Just make sure to ask before entering any of the buildings.
A pagoda is a beautiful tower-like structure with lots of stories, but not stories like we usually have at the library, stories like levels. They're usually built as a temple or memorial. The part of the roof that sticks out on each story might curve up on the sides or have elaborate details and decorative ornamentation. The structure of a pagoda can be traced back to what's called a stupa. This is a domed commemorative monument built in ancient India. The shape was meant to be a symbol of sacred mountains, and they were used to house relics or remains of saints and kings. The cultures across all the different parts of Asia influenced features of the design over time. Stupas evolved into distinct forms, where certain styles became more typical to certain regions. Gradually, most of them became more elongated and more of like a cylinder sort of shape overall. In Myanmar or Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos, the pagoda took on a shape that might remind you of a pyramid or cone. They basically repeat each story, but it gets smaller and smaller the higher it goes. In China, Korea, and Japan, it evolved into the tower-like structure that is one of the most well-known forms for pagodas now. There are so many different kinds. If you ever get a chance to visit one, be respectful as you try to find out more about it, since it may be a temple or sacred monument. Personally, I would like to visit a peace pagoda someday. These are monuments built to inspire peace and to unite people from all backgrounds. There are over 80 of them all across the world, including Asia, Europe, Australia, Mexico, Canada, California, Massachusetts, and the Great Smoky Mountains. So now you know, that's a pagoda.
To learn more about Asian American heritage, ask your caregiver to take you on a field trip to these cool sites. First, take a stroll through the Japanese gardens at the Fort Worth Botanic Gardens. This garden is filled with plants like cherry trees, Japanese maples, magnolias, and bamboo. And the garden ponds are filled with colorful koi fish. Contact the library to learn how you can get a pass to visit the Botanic Gardens for free. Next, visit the Crow Museum of Asian Art in Dallas. This museum has numerous collections of art made from unique materials and art pieces created by Japanese modern artists. Our Texas heat and climate won't allow us to visit an actual rice field, but let's take a virtual field trip to ricepedia.com. Ricepedia.com is an online resource that shows how rice is farmed and eaten by people in numerous cultures, discusses the different types of rice, and how rice is a staple crop for many countries that deal with the lack of food. Visit ricepedia.com to learn how growing rice greatly impacts the world. And last but not least, take a field trip to your nearest library and pick up books like My First Book of Vietnamese Words and Instant Vietnamese to learn how to speak a cool new language that you can teach your family and friends. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Learn, Dream, Do Show. We'll see you next time.